Today we're in Arizona doing something we totally did not expect. We're going to be heading to a diesel mechanic. We're having a Ford Power Stroke truck looked at.
We had spent the day at Saguaro National Park, and we went a different way because there was a restaurant that I heard about that we wanted to check out. So we ended up seeing a truck on a street corner, and it looked really nice. So we decided on our way back that we would stop and look at it.
So the reason we're having the truck inspected at a shop is because I've always driven gas trucks and worked on gas trucks, and I'm not super familiar with Power Stroke or diesel trucks, and I'd like a professional to take a look at it. So the mechanic was a no-show, and the owner of the truck knew of another diesel place up the road, so we went to the other place, and the guy was just fantastic. We are so thankful that the first mechanic was a no-show. We believe that it was just God's blessing in disguise. He recommended that we also get a suspension inspection. So we have an appointment tomorrow morning at a local shop to have the suspension looked at, and we'll have to make a decision at that point. Well, we're just getting home. It's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We ended up getting a phone call from the owner of the truck. He found a place that could do the inspection on the suspension right away. So we turned around and went back and met him, and they ended up throwing the truck up on the lift, and they did find some issues on the front end, about $1,200 worth of parts and labor that they had to repair.
Yeah, so then the discussion of the final sale came up. You know, what do we want to do? How do we want to handle it? I'm kind of the wheeler and dealer of the relationship, and he wanted to split the cost with us of the repair and then us still pay the full price, asking price of the truck. And I was like, how about you knock it down $1,000 and we call it good? And then we paid for the repairs. So
he accepted. We had a agreement right there in the repair shop, and we now are the owners of a Power Stroke diesel truck. So we're really excited. It's an F-250. Been a long day. Had to stop at Chipotle to get our dinner, but we are ready to just chill out and relax. The repair shop's going to call us once the truck is finished, and we're going to go pick it up.
Wait a second, yo. You got to take me for a ride. Try to do this without crying too hard because I'm like sitting here ugly crying, but we just want to tell the story because it's so incredible. So we were driving to our destination here in Tucson, and we were talking about how bad our truck sounded and knowing that we're facing probably some pretty expensive repairs, not even knowing fully, just knowing it didn't sound good at all. And trying to just talk through, like, you know, what would we do, that kind of thing. And I just told Matt, like, if God can get us through the mountains of Colorado and he can get us through the mountains of Utah with this truck and the way it sounds, like, I've been praying and praying and praying that he would provide a way for us to be able to afford a truck. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she let me know that she had been praying and praying and praying about it, that God would provide a way. And we were here in Tucson, and right on the street corner, there is a beautiful used truck, and we weren't even going to go that way. She had heard about a restaurant here locally, so we said, hey, let's just go try it. So we went out of our normal route and saw this truck. So we decided on our way back from getting our food, we would take a look at the truck. We pull in to look at it, and the owner had just gotten dropped off and unlocked the door and was getting ready to take the truck back home. So we were able to talk with him, look the truck over, look under the hood. I took it on a test drive with him. We scheduled to have a diesel mechanic, look at the truck this morning. The owner of the truck agreed to drive it over there and meet us, even though it was 20 minutes out of his way. So we met him over there, and the owner of the diesel mechanic shop stood us up. There were actually two other guys standing at his front door that have their trucks in there being worked on, and they've not been able to make contact with the guy. So he stood us up. So we left there. Billy, the owner of the truck, knew of a diesel shop up the road. He'd never been there, but he knew there was one up the road. So we drove over there, and the owner of that shop was wonderful. They didn't have time. He only had one mechanic working that day. He was in the middle of a job, and he had people in the waiting room waiting, but he took the time to talk to us for almost 20 minutes.
Yeah. All
about this truck, asked the questions to us, asked tough questions to the owner, to Billy, and Billy had to answer those questions right in front of us, and it was very, very helpful. A wonderful guy, and so much so that we would actually drive 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours to his shop just to have our truck worked on. That's the impression he left on us when we left.
And just not to interrupt you, but we'll actually put his contact information in his shop info below, because I will sing his praises forever.
And he gave us his card, said call anytime. He'll answer any questions we have about this specific year and model of truck. He suggested that we get a suspension inspection.
Which wasn't even on our radar.
Wasn't on our radar. So Billy, the owner, was willing to go somewhere to drop the truck off for that inspection. We went to a place, and they weren't available until tomorrow morning. So we all agreed we were going to meet Billy there at 7:30 in the morning and give him a ride back. And they were going to have all day to do this inspection. We just about made it back home here. And again, and we got a phone call from Billy, the owner, and he said that he found a suspension shop that had availability to do it right then. So we took it to the shop, and we were so impressed with those guys. Just great guys. They actually let us go out in the shop. They threw the truck up on the lift. They were showing us what they were looking at. Overall, we were just really impressed.
Yeah. And I think, again, the cool part of this is yesterday and today, as we were trying to just decide, is this a wise decision? And we've asked friends to pray, and we've been praying, and it's going to make me emotional again, but just that God would give us clarity and direction and a clear answer. And he did in the way everything played out. He did in the mechanic not showing up. He did in us not being able to have that suspension inspection by the one shop, but by the other guys doing the work. And just such a gift. And I just want to say, he hears your prayers and he cares.
Well, that's our story of how we purchased our new F-250. Well, it's not new, it's used, but it's new to us. Basically, we traded in miles for both trucks. They're almost identical in mileage, but this one's a diesel, and it's going to last us a whole lot longer.
And just remember, you don't have to spend even $20,000 or $30,000. You don't have to have a brand new truck. We've got an old truck older than this one even, but it's going to do the job, and it's going to do the job for years to come.
Now get out there and wander.